me. So, there's you. Sorry for the delay. I ran into a few things a few things I had to accomplish, a few errands. I thought we might come out here and talk about a number of things. The screen is quite bright because the sun is beaming off of the water in front of me. Thinking about changing positions, but maybe I have to put my sunnies on. And that might work. Try that out. That might help a little bit. Anyways, so hello. Hope you're all well. There's as per usual, I have a bunch of ideas that I want to cover, but I noticed that I do end up talking with the assumption that most people have the basis of the concept of what I'm talking about. Like they took a 101 class and I'm speaking about something further down the line. They don't have the basics. I mean, if you don't have the basics, it's not going to make sense. So I thought maybe in some sense we could start with the basics of what's going on in the world now. These are very large construct of corporations, capitalism, and we'll get into magic a little bit. And but mainly I want to focus on even trade routes and what's going on with how economies work. So I mean, really, this should be a talk, and it'll probably take a while, but to give a baseline for why businesses are in business. Now, the simple answer is money. Money is leverage, is power, is control. You know, it's most people don't get to the point of control or power, but once enough money is acquired for corporations and even humans, the money is irrelevant. Money is of no object. It's of no real value. And what we must consider as I'm giving this idea about what corporations do, we have to understand what is a corporation and what isn't. About everything you interact with is a corporation. The United States is a corporation. I accept it. It is. It's a corporation. It's no different than Walmart. It really isn't. To understand how it really works, is you'd have to understand a lot to do with maritime admiralty law. You'd have the capitis, like how words are written on paper and different types of dictionaries, legalese. I'm trying to separate that. I'm trying to leave that to the side, and that's kind of an advanced class. But the knowledge is pretty simple that you yourself are a being, sovereign soul, and this is you. The whole persona, which means mask, the whole person, which is then described within legalese terms as something different, is connected. You have to understand this part. It's connected to a corporation. The corporation is the United States for people who live here, and for other countries there. It's like waking up and being an employee of Walmart. Walmart could you could name this country Walmart if you wanted to. Walmart could quite literally buy the United States of America and change the branding from that wording to Walmart, and you live at Walmart. It's the same thing. Everybody thinks it's somehow different, and you don't. It's pretty simple when you get into, any business is structured in the exact same way that the government is. It's the same thing. So, what is the goal of corporations? What is the goal of companies? If you think of it short term, you'll lose sight of what's happening in the world. You think we need to make profits now. And that's short-sighted. And people that are beyond making money because they've already made enough and they're into control and power and subjugation, and it's mainly control, and it has to do with sociopaths and narcissism, which is a learned response behavior to feeling as if you won't have enough. It's living in a state of fear of of not living in abundance. Okay, here's a psychological analysis of what goes into becoming a large corporation and the people that function in running those things. And then they want to control and manipulate because they think they know better because money somehow equals knowledge, which it doesn't. So, what do these corporations want? And what are corporations? They're not looking short term. They're not playing short term games. So if they lost money for a little while, think of it this way. If you were to start a business, part of your business plan, if you owned you wanted to start a cookie shop, and you knew you had the best cookies ever. Part of your initial investment, whenever you were to get a loan and start the cookie corporation, you would get enough money to hand out free cookies to everyone so they knew that your product was good so they'd come back and buy more later. In every facet, if you look at businesses going, their whole job, their whole goal is to make money, you've lost sight of what they're really trying to do. They're trying to own the entire world, the entire market, the entire thing. They want that to themselves because of their psychopathic behavior that they've learned through having a feeling of not living in a world of abundance. So their goal is not short term. Most people are like, well, why would they do that? That's losing them money because you're looking so small. You're looking at the ground when they're playing 7D hyperdimensional chess, as some people like to put it. They're not playing stupid ass whatever game you're playing, go fish. They ain't playing that shit. What do you think heroin dealers do? First dose is free. They want you. They want a customer. They want someone to. If you were running a cult, you want members. You want people that will follow you. People that they seek that because they themselves are powerless individually. They are powerless as self. They don't know anything. They can't stand on their own 2 feet, so they succubus off everybody else. They're leeches, all of them. They think they're powerful, but they're only powerful due to everybody else acquiescing and giving up their own power in the form of currency, energy, money, to that. Their attention, their everything. It goes to that. So they just suck it up. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they, though? So, in one sense, you cannot blame them. But you can, however, consider the people that continually invest their mind into the product or the idea. Now, certainly, as someone, if we're going to play on a higher level, we'd say, well, all of the marketing, all of the theoretical scientists and psychologists and all of these people have been years and years on how to hack people's brains, how to put them underneath a spell. It's been going on for a long time, and they've become efficient at it, so efficient and proficient at it that most people have no clue of. Think about it. When you're watching TV and all of a sudden a couple commercials come on and you're wondering why you want to go order Domino's pizza. You think that's simple? No, it's tactics that have been used for a very long time. That people have if you see how they're doing it, then you can just go, I see no value in participating and giving my energy to this product, this thing, because it doesn't help me. But most people, they'll just go, oh, we'll just continue to. Hey, now am I saying never to go and enjoy? If you enjoy Domino's, if you enjoy eating that garbage called McDonald's, go for it. I will. I don't. But to make it a staple of your deity, which is your diet, of what you consume and what you invest your time and money into, it seems really anti-generation, anti-human, anti-helping out the world. And so these corporations, their aim, because corporations mean corpses. Corpses are dead bodies, dead entities, and they're trying to suck the lifeblood to become alive. Large corporations are filled with spirits or humans that are in the buildings that bring these giant giant monstrosities of buildings alive. Because it's all the people inside that are putting energy and invested into the corporate structure. So they're bringing a dead building alive. They're bringing filth alive rather than participating in reality, in nature, and in making things that are products that do assist in enlivening, encouraging, helping, assisting people, reality. Because what they see is if they do that, if they do that, then they don't have a customer in a week. If I were to help you heal yourself, you would never need to come see me again, and that would be in my bottom line. I might not have any energy next week. I not have money coming in. I might not have any because I've helped you. So what do you need me for anymore? This is what they do. What do you need them for anymore? It's called planned obsolescence. Why do you think everybody buys a new fucking iPhone every year? They plan on the shit breaking. They made shit weaker and stupider. They make shoes to break. Everything is made to break on purpose. And they continue to do this. And everybody falls for the fucking okie dokie. They fall. It's just how do you not notice? How do you not notice what's going on in the world in every way? They're subjecting you to corporate laws that have nothing to do with you. Corporate ideas. Like, just because somebody suggests something to you doesn't mean you need to participate with it. You want to smoke some crack with me? I'm guessing about 99% of people are going to be like, nah, I don't think that's a good idea. Why don't you associate that with all the other businesses that you frequent? Because they're literally doing not much better than giving you crack. They're selling you salts and poisons and bullshit. Lies, salts, poison, and bullshit. As long as you shine it up and make it all look nice, polishing a fucking turd. And people still eat this shit up. They eat it up. They're just like turd nibblers. So we need to learn to very, very quickly assess what is a healthy and encouraging for the world and what isn't. I think if you don't notice it right now and you can't see it, you're probably not going to be around this realm very much longer. To be honest, it's just what it is. It doesn't work too well if you continue. Like, do you think the person that's eating a healthy diet and doing things that are beneficial for them and their family and the community, do you think they're going to live a better, longer life, or the person that regularly goes through a drive-through and eats all fast food and bullshit? I mean, just be honest. Like, it's clear that there's one path that is what's said. You can't serve two masters. What do these people? What do they think? What do you think's going to happen? So you need to learn to negate the spell by first acknowledging that they're spell casting, acknowledging that they're using all sorts of mental, emotional. They use the emotions so much. They get emotion involved in something. Walk through the store. Go try to buy some groceries. What happens? Trying to buy groceries, and you get done, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to donate some money to the cancer research?" And then if you say no, thank you, bro. I'll be done in a second too, Johnny. If you say no, what you get this look of like, how dare you? That was only 30 cents. And I have to stand there and be like, why are you looking at me like that? Because I already know the fact that trillions of dollars have gone into the research, not the solution, because the solution has already been granted a long time ago. There's a billion ways to solve whatever cancer is or whatever other problem people have. But they still want you. They're still sitting there emotionally peer pressuring you into giving up your energy to something to study what? The people are asking for. That's the cancer. That's the people. They're the one manipulating and being emotionally drawing your energy from you. Emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially. For what? You feel like you did a good deed? No, you're actually doing something quite terrible for humanity. If you give money to these research foundations for all this bullshit, you're not helping these kids. You're not helping these people that are like in hospitals with all of these really fucked up diseases. You're assisting in them, studying them for no purpose, because remember, it's a business. Their goal is not to solve the problem. It's to slightly alleviate the problem, get someone hooked as a customer. You don't solve the problem as a business. It is literally not in the business model. What don't people get about this? Name something that you think is helping people. It's not in their business model. If they have a corporation and it's a for-profit corporation, it's not in, it literally can, and if it's sold as a stock and it's traded, it literally cannot be with the intention of not making its shareholders money, which means every single time they need to make more money. How do they do that? Either make the product with cheaper materials, thereby making it inferior, jack the price up. What aren't you following here? Or get new customers and keep customers. It doesn't matter what you think it is. You think health services are not health services. They're sickness services. It's so frustrating. You try to tell people this and they just think like, no, my aunt's a doctor, my cousin's a nurse, da-da-da-da-da. So what? Yeah, they are probably good people. And in their mind, they believe they're helping. And they think they want, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a nurse. I want to help people. Surely the mentality and those people are probably good people, but they're working for a really disgusting cause. And everything about it is very much not for the benefit of anything human, anything natural, anything that has a seed and produces itself. Everything we do that we're looking at, it's outside of us, it has no seed, it has no gong, it has no heart, it has no soul. It's just to get to the next thing, and they're going to produce something else that has no seed. There's no bounty in that. And these people that are part of these corporations, and especially pharmaceuticals, all this shit with less hospitals now, teachers are quitting. You know what? I applaud that. They can't see why, but I'm telling you that's a good thing. Because now that makes people go to the doctor less because they don't need to be going there. It gets rid of all the hypochondriacs. Because we have a nation full of hypochondriacs, the world full of hypochondriacs. We need teachers? What? You know what teachers work for? They're not public schools, you dummies. Public schools are not for the public. Public schools are run by who? Therefore, it's an institution run by what? What propaganda? Government ain't there for you. They can be helpful sometimes. They're there to support in some ways. But as a general rule across the board, it's not. It's for you to. They're giving you their curriculum. Not what you want. Not what you would teach your children. Not what you would teach yourself. You would never go back. As an adult, no one here can honestly say they would choose to go back to the same school system the way it's ever been. Why? As long as you're being honest, you can see what it was. Read any fucking book on what it is. The Underground History of American Education by John Taylor Gatto, The Fourth Purpose. Read Weapons of Mass Instruction. Just do any kind of cursory research and you'll understand completely what it is. And if you sat through class and thought it was for your own benefit and good and health and well-being and to mature a generation and not cause it to be stunted in growth and literally retarded, that's the word, to retard growth, to cause it not to occur. That's what it's there for. If you think that's helpful, you've lost your mind. You're trained. If you think doctors and nurses are there to help you, you've lost. That's their business model is not that. So when we start to recognize those things, then you can, alleviate those problems. What is the solution to those things? Apparently, the flipping the script, flipping the narrative to exactly the opposite of what they're saying is probably the truth. What don't they want you doing? They don't want you breathing. They don't want you taking your shoes off. They don't want you getting sunshine. The sun causes cancer. Okay, I'm sure that's how it works, and it's not all the disgusting ass filthy chemical laced lotions that people have been putting on. Oh, we got the cancer. It's gonna kill us. We've been around for 20 million years and it hasn't given us cancer up until recently. Yeah, right when everybody started slathering that shit all over their skin. People are clueless. It's literally the source of all life. The people that if someone tells you that sun causes cancer, everything they say after that is null, void, nil, bullshit, garbage, trash. Throw it out. And everybody that's part of those institutions will tell you, here's what you need, take this, do that, and they think the sun causes cancer. It's moronic. No, they tell you that the water isn't good. You can't drink distilled water, that will kill you. You need to put salt in there. It's moronic. What kind of foolish, irrelevant nonsense, chicanery, absolute dog shit is someone speaking when they say, no, clean water is not what you need. We need to put something in there that if you do any research on, is probably not so good for any of the glandular systems in your body, isn't good for your teeth, isn't good for any part of your system. You know that stuff they put in there? It's supposed to like harden up your pineal gland so you can't think or dream or have any, you know that stuff that they put in there? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And everybody's like, oh, well, I don't know. Why wouldn't they? They want to help you. Yeah, all they do. They don't help with anything else. You go to they want to give you strong bones and teeth. They just want to send that to you. What are you? What are you? Literally an idiot? A moron? Are you an idiot, a moron, stupid, or dumb? Pick one. It's you have to understand these. Why is it the people that make the most money you think they're on your side, and the people that are like struggling through life to tell you the truth, you don't believe them? The healthy people that are struggling to tell you the truth, you don't believe them, but this disgusting, fat, overfed, falling apart morons that with the shiny suit that has a lot of money that has been literally lying and cheating and stealing, you love that and you believe that. How is that? How fucking lost are you? The trick is flip the whole thing, flip the whole narrative. Start listening to the people that don't have much, because they'll tell you the truth. A child never lies. A child will ask you the questions that adults won't ask. Why? Because their paycheck they rely on their paycheck. Yes. So for them to know something or question something that they cannot know or should not know, they will never do it. If their paycheck relies on them not knowing something, they won't do it. So who are you going to listen to? Somebody got the paycheck or somebody don't? And welcome. I'm Zen, you're you. Just chilling here at this beautiful bayou down in New Orleans. Hanging out with the ducks. And all of these other ones screaming. And as you know, this is what I do for a living. And if you are feeling so generous, I am running on fumes these days financially. I still got bills to pay. We're still living in that world. I'm trying to change that. But right now, if you'd like to, feel free. I do take donations in the bucket. CashApp, PayPal. Oh, there's a little turtle right here. Maybe he'll come over here. CashApp, PayPal, and Venmo. It's beneath. You can see it in the description box. It's CashApp is the $ capital TSAR ZAR and then XEN. Same thing with PayPal.me / capital TSAR capital XEN. And if you need anything from me personally, you can email me at TheoLuminous. That's spelled Theoluminous. Well, I did that backwards, but Theoluminous means God's light or God light, and at Gmail. So if you need anything from me there. And thumbs up are always free. I do appreciate those because it gets people to watch this in the future, I suppose. But yeah, hope you all doing well. Let me scroll through, see if anybody's here, and you guys can see these little turtle. Let's see. Oh, where'd the little turtle head go? Little chicken ducks over here. What's up, peace, love? Yeah, yep, I hear you there on the peace, love. Yeah, it's well, the people that I've heard speak about it. Yeah, it's the highest controlling class is a very high level of priestcraft, and they're using magic. They're not using paper money as a talisman's idol. They're using as a construct or a literal it's like idol worship. Just like, don't pray to, the Bible tells you the idea of Jesus or praying to something it's a larger idea. The entity is everything, and that's what you pray to. That's the idea. That's the universal prime creator. That kind of It's not a physical object. It's any physical object. It's any event. It's all the same thing. It's the Tao. But when people start using the piece of paper, that becomes in God we trust. So that paper becomes the God, right? So you've, while it can do something and function, just like it's like finding a statue of a Buddha or a flame, even a flame. It's just a point of focus. It's not the Buddha. It's not the Jesus. It's not the flame. It's not whatever you think it is. It just gives you a point of focus. But when people use that as the everything, then they're stuck. And that piece of paper has become no different. It is a talisman's idol. It's no different than any of those things that become the primary motivator. The eat a dollar bill. It's poisonous. It's, however it isn't a unit of exchange. It's a system of exchange. I'm exchanging information of very high level, and hopefully in return I get high level information. And sometimes that construct of information is in the form of digits on my CashApp, my PayPal. Sometimes it's somebody giving me a really nice letter. Sometimes it's people informing me through a painting. Sometimes it's words. Sometimes it's a gift box. I don't know. It all comes in different ways, but it's surely not just. It's not just one thing. It's not just. It's the Tao. It's the everything. What's up, MD? What you doing? Yeah. Oh yeah, MD. Yeah. Doctors are. Look, I've known plenty of people in so many different businesses, so many different avenues. You get into it and you're in it, and a lot of what nurses and doctors do are great, but then it slides into that slippery slope of at what point is you're over medicating. At what point, okay, well, here's this medication, then you need this one to fix the problem this other one caused, and then how many surgeons are really amped up to do surgery? I'm sure you know this. I know plenty of guys that would talk about, like I've known people that ran hospitals, and they'd be like, it's always the guy that's the surgeon that wants to do the life-saving surgery to put that on his resume, and when the cut, burning, and poisoning shouldn't be happening, there's plenty of things that could be done prior to that. And then I've gotten in many debates with him about like healthy people and shit. He's like, look, dude. He's like, I understand where you're coming from, because he's like an Indian dude. He knows about health. He knows about all of the good shit. He knows. And he's like, but even if I'm a doctor and I tell them to go change their diet, go do this and do this, they're not going to listen. So why shouldn't I? This is how they want to be helped. So if I can do that for them and I get paid, why wouldn't I? And I was like, you know what? You're right. You're damn right. It just sucks that so much effort is put in so much effort is put into making people not know that it's not a fair playing ground, and the doctors don't know till way later. Most of the doctors that I know until later in life, they don't have no clue about health and well-being. Most nurses, no clue. Even naturopaths really don't know. Even these people that are into like health conscious bullshit, they don't know. They don't know what it is. They think they know. They use too much science. They get confused. Science has delineated things into. They've made things into boxes, and that everything is so compartmentalized that you don't know what the other thing is doing. Why does this one guy know so much about my feet that if I have a problem with my leg, he doesn't know what's going on my knee? But then if my heart's not, like, I thought she was supposed to work in the whole goddamn, and they don't know. It's compartmentalized. So do that across all business, and nobody knows what's going on anywhere. There's no overarching. Everybody's a specialist, and so they really have no clue about even how the body functions as a whole. There are some people that know, but nobody listens to them because they're like, because they make things too simple. How could it possibly be that simple? We have a habit, human nature. Well, not human nature, but human innovation has been to make things complex that are very simple. We cause complexities to very simple things. It's like engineers try to make things very simple, but then you find these fancy engineers that go through this whole thing to make something work, and it's like, yeah, but you added 3 extra steps you didn't need. A lot of people like doing that. 3 extra steps you don't need to get something accomplished. What's up, Denise? The turd nibblers. What's up, Melissa? Induced sleep is church and school. Yeah, school will put you to sleep. A, because of the way you're sitting. I mean, if we get into all of like the why from a kinesiological, biochemical, what's going on in your body from sitting and the way you're posturing, and then also what a church should be doing. The church should be healing people. That's what the organs are there for. That's what the the shape of when you walk in and there's that giant circle with all of that great cymatics going on in there and the different colors and the stained glass. That's the shape. That's the shape of the resonant frequency of the church. You understand? The shape of the church is literally the harmonic stuff. That is the frequency that would be cymatically represented by what's going on the top of that church. And then we've that doesn't happen anymore. And you walk in and everything has changed. And we listen to some guy talk about a book that he doesn't know anything about, speaking about it exoterically, making people lazy and tired and numb to everything, and not even using the organ the way it should be used, nor the church used to be the way it should be used. So it becomes a tiring thing. It's leeching. It takes your energy, it takes your money you give to the basket. No, church was the other thing. It was an energy device, not only for humans, but for the planet. Nobody wants to hear that, because of course they built churches like that all over the world. Righto, yeah. It's far from the truth. So of course we go to these centers for indoctrination. Of course it's going to make you tired and lazy. No kid wants to sit around. They should be actively learning and participating in reality, not sitting in a desk told to sit down, shut up, don't ask questions, and we have all the answers. It's curious people that you know what makes people interesting? Being interested. Do you know why I'm an interesting person? I'm fucking interesting because I'm interested, because I pay attention, because I'm like, that's cool, that's weird, that's strange, that's unique. How's that work? What's going on there? I'm interested. I listen to somebody talk. I fucking listen. I listen so hard that I'll ask questions. If you're like, well, you talk too much. Like, no, I'm asking you a question because you said something. I'm trying to understand here. I'm trying to understand because I'm interested. So it makes people interesting. And it functions the same way. Get interested in the shit that is going on in the world. Like the basic things you do. Why do you take 10 steps to... Do you know how many steps you take to get to your car? You ever tried changing that? You always reach with your left hand, open the door this way. You ever do the other way? You ever change up patterns and see why are you going through those exact patterns? Yeah, what's that? Oh, you slept through in the front row? Well, if you were smart, hey Denise, if you were smart enough, and you were the front row sitting kid, the teacher would let you get away with it. If you were getting A's, they'd let you get away with it. They won't let you, and they'll let here's who they don't let sleep. The kids in the middle of the class. Once in the back class, they say there's nothing that's gonna help them. Fuck them. They're in the back class, they ain't paying attention, they're not gonna listen, they're gonna give me problems anyways. They don't want to learn, they don't care. And so they don't pay attention to the ones in the back class, nor the front of the class. The ones in the middle, who are like on the borderline, they're like, oh, maybe I can help them. Can't sleep in the middle of class. Although usually in the front of the class, kids were wide awake. Hi, I would like to raise my hand. What's up, Ryan Gamble? What you been doing, man? Yeah, Juniper, the Empire wants to. Well, the temples. I mean, that's what they've been doing for as long as. I mean, they took them over so long ago. The only reason they smash and burn them now is to make an example out of something. And they're just like, it's just something to do. Here's an example of a church. Destroy it. It has nothing to do with the belief system that isn't in line. I mean, it can be. That can be part of the narrative that they're spewing. But it's they just cherry pick what church do we want to destroy right now, and how does that line up? Excuse me, with some very occult, esoteric sciences like gematria, the numbers and the place and the da-da-da, and they'll pick it out that way. Considering that's how everything was lined up to begin with. Basically, the way you'd plot out a computer program and set up a city, just like SimCity, what the fuck do you think they did here? We're living on top of a computer board. Well, motherboard. Mother Earth is a motherboard. It's just what it is. I mean, whether you think this is all natural, like God made it, it's all natural. Sure, I mean, we see the difference between what we'd call natural, which is something that causes seed and generation, and what we call unnatural, artificial, something that cannot do that, creates no seed and can't reproduce itself. That's the living in the dead world. Again, I'm good with either one because there are plenty of dead world things that we use as tools and technologies that assist us. There's no separation between life and death in the dead world and living world, nor artificiality and natural world. Really, no. The difference is you don't let the artificial construct control the narrative and the reality of the life construct. Because if you get rid of all of the life, then the dead world is all that exists, and life will never happen again because it can't produce life. However, if you keep life here, it molds much as, you know, the gods were potters. They were working with clay, and they were molding worlds. So this is what we do. Because if you have consciousness and awareness of being alive as being having been created and also a creator yourself, then you can mold things. However, the consciousness, whatever you want to call that, does not exist in, you know, a book bag. These sunglasses, there's no consciousness here. This is nothing. It's conscious in the sense that someone produced it to have an effect. They look rad, sometimes a little too bright. Should we really be wearing sunglasses? No, not too often. But, you know, there are purposes and things to having a little flavor, a little style, a little bit of warmth, a little bit of culture, whatever. But all in all, these things don't create the culture. We create the thing that looks like the culture. Every other culture is something that was designed by humans or gods or living entities. Everything else is a mimicry until you create something original, and that originality is working out of a brain that we're not told to work out of. Told to work out of repetition. Why reinvent the wheel kind of thing? We've already done this, just do it this way. And we're just sitting there doing the same shit we've been doing for so long because when we don't remember how to use our creative, feminine, right brain, our left-handed path. Everybody's like, oh, the right-handed path, left-handed path, evil, no, it's a balance of those two things, the two brains, the masculine, the feminine, the magnetic, the electric. People need to give a better, have a better footing about an understanding of why. We're looking at it in the outward way that everybody is transitioning or changing, and what the goal was internally, your mentality would alter. You would stop being so masculine or stop being so feminine and have more of the other characteristics, not an outward display of cut your cock off and get some tits installed and go get some hormones. You adjust that internally just to balance out your feelings, your emotions, and the way that you interact with the world. Oh, because I got these. Look at these little guys right here. Boom. Look at him right there. That little guy and my buddy John. And these guys right here. I see them. Hey, what are you doing? Go over here. Where are you guys going? Are you guys going to go eat? You got snacks over there, John?
Turtle.
There you go. Going to play with the turtles? Okay. Alright. What's up, Aaron? What's up? Oh, what's up, Corinne? Poopity doopity. How you doing? Yeah, I mean, the book burnings have been happening just beyond Alexandria. It's been happening all over the place for many, many millennia. We keep kind of recycling and restarting and resetting cultures. Uh,
Get out of here.
yeah, Ryan. Yeah, I hear you on that. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm on to my fourth Instagram. I'll hit you up on there. Are you on? Because I remember you had we were hooking up. We were talking for a minute, and then you had a new, um, what was Telegram? Anybody wants to hit me up on Telegram too. Zen.atman, but that's also my. It might be Zen underscore Atman, and my Instagram is zen.atman. So hit me up there, and we'll link up again. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ryan. It's funny you say that. I can't tell you how many times I said some shit, and the next day there's like 40 channels that I know are not on the. They ain't on the real, and all of a sudden I'm like, didn't I just say that fucking yesterday? Oh, I see that, man. Well, Juniperus, I mean, the original artificial womb was considered to be a gourd by the alchemists, and they would use like a pumpkin, a gourd, and they would create a homunculus in it. I don't know that to be true or not, but I've read many of accounts that that was something that was going on, and then that turned into, from the alchemists creating what you'd call like you'd have a tulpa. They'd use clay, and you'd use there's ways to do it. You're creating higher level like God forms, tulpas, egregors, and then down into creating smaller forms, kind of like minions or meeseeks. And then you'd be doing beneath that would be sigils. So sigil work, then meeseeks, and all the way up to where people shouldn't be playing. Tulpas you should not be playing with. Egregors you could, if you know anything, perhaps, but God forms you don't create. It's not a really great idea. It gets they can get out of hand really quick. Um, but yeah, I mean that so anyways, the alchemists that were doing that in the gourd, etc., turned into chemistry, and well, I mean that has to do with Cometians too, but that's a long story. The the chemistry then turned into the scientific people that became, well, we can change the DNA and start hybridizing everything, and then get into Michael Tellinger's work and the hybridizing of species many moons ago and different cultures, which I'm all for hybridizing. However, their hybridization will always happen. So I'm 100% okay with that. I just don't like the idea of laboratory hybridizing. That's where I think we've gone a little wrong. Because if two species are going to function together, it will happen organically. A seed will, the next generation will come. But if you have to do a bunch of things with knives and needles and this, then I think you kind of, I don't know, that might not be the correct way to go about it. And that's where we are with all of the people, producing the Frankensteins, producing the, look at what I can do. Like, just because you can do it, should you do it kind of feeling. MD, thoughts on circumcision? I mean, the answer is very obvious. Stop causing that kind of trauma to children. It's the most idiotic thing you can do. It has probably caused more chaos in this world than any other surgical procedure, bar none. Who in their right mind would stab a baby with a needle? Psychopaths. If you have, you have. But maybe you didn't know any better. But you should know. You shouldn't be stabbing babies with needles. Who stabs animals in the wild? Nobody. They don't need doctors. Who's gonna go cut off? You're gonna go cut off a kid's dick? That's insane. You're in a cult and you're an insane person, and you should know that. So then you need help, and maybe you've come to terms. Don't do that. But the chaos that's caused for the next generation, that if you got could you imagine how much trauma is held inside of that area? You're a child, and you just come to a new. Think of it this way: you just come to a new realm. First thing, you come to the new realm, you don't speak the language. You don't know what's going on. You're freaking out. You see all these lights. You see all these people in fucking white suits. Basically, like an alien, like aliens. They go, "Oh, I was alien space probe." That's like going to have to be birthed out of your womb from a mother that should be in a hospital, where that's where all the dead people and sick people go. You're telling the woman that she's sick with a sinner. These little guys are eating. Why wouldn't they be birthed somewhere healthy and wholesome? Right? But no, we'll do that. Seal the baby, cut the umbilical cord, which shouldn't be done, and then chop the dick off. And then, what do you think kind of trauma that's going to post-traumatic stress disorders? How do you think that's going to feed out into culture, and why there's such a propensity and a preponderance of male-dominated culture, the patriarchy? Where do you think that came from? The insanity from the priestcraft that we're abusing. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen to females in certain religions where they're cutting off clitorises, which is absolutely equally insane. But it's one of the most insane things someone could do. And I mean, at this point, it's just like, okay, you're not really fixing that shit. I mean, there are some kind of things that talk about the foreskin regrowth and blah blah blah. I mean, whatever. I mean, we're all fucked up. Let's just move on. Everybody's good. You done cutting dicks. You know what I mean? You was listening to a podcast titled "A Feminist, a Misogynist, and a Tantric Male Walk into a Bar." That makes sense. I like it. Karen. Yeah, MD. Meeseeks like Rick and Morty. Yes, Meeseeks are the same thing as the minions, I forget the exact name of what that would be called, but that's the level up for making sigils. You'd be making those things that do that for you. They don't necessarily come alive. You might not be able to see them, but they are an energetic force that will accomplish a task, just like a sigil will. It's like a step up from a super sigil. Yeah. Yeah, good for you. Yeah. Mine is all chopped up. Still good looking cock I got. But yeah, no, it's a horrendous thing to even consider. I as a human, I couldn't even imagine someone saying, "Hey, here's what I'm gonna do." I'm like, "No, you're not. Yeah, we're not gonna be doing that." I couldn't even imagine taking my, if my wife, significant other, to some person I don't know to like unload my and their offspring, and then have it taken away to be stabbed, prodded, poked, needled, measured, the whole gambit. No, get the fuck away. It's pretty. I mean, I don't know how people have just become so accustomed and okay with that, and it really does have to do with overreach of government and religion. If you think religion isn't part of government, you're very, very sadly mistaken. If you don't think the ancient Egyptian religions have funneled into what we see as American government, at least in the past, you've lost. You're missing it. And if you don't think Egypt was part of America, considering there's a place called Cairo here, there's a like Memphis, even Memphis, it was here. The pyramids were here first. America is the land of the rich soil. America, Africa, Rica means rich. So Africa and America, rich soil, and it's not. Everything's reverse. Everything, any story you've heard is the opposite of what you heard. I'm not going to do this whole thing again, but if you think slavery isn't Slavic people, it's the same word. You didn't think they were the ones coming to Ellis Island? You think it went backwards? The whole thing happened in the opposite direction. The infestation of this country was not with slaves that were melanated from Africa. It was infested from a bunch of people, children, and coming on the boats to Ellis Island. I mean, what did you think happened? They give you that, but nobody even puts that into their memory banks. Like, no, we're just overwhelmed with the slave trade from Africa. That's how it happened. People that are brown people here, melanated people most of them are native to this land. They have no connection whatsoever to any of the tribes or countries in the continent of Africa. As far back as they can look. They won't find it. However, white people, they could look back just a few generations, and most of them will find their relatives over in Europe. Imagine that. What's up, Stan? The sigils do well. The sigils, I don't know about that, Ryan, because the sigil is just an angle or a shape of energy. I don't think when you create, like if I create a shape, look at this is an all this is a three-dimensional sigil, yes. So this is not trying not to hold its shape. It's in its shape. It's a can. So I mean, and there it is. I've made a sigil. This is it. There's a sigil on the can, yes. But it's gonna hold its shape. So a sigil is not. I don't see how a sigil wouldn't be trying to not maintain its shape. That if you've as a creator, as a god, as a human, as a being, if you were to make a table, what's it going to be? It's going to be a table. If you make a chair, it's going to be a chair. It's not trying to avoid being that. If you construct it properly, heirloom, a tomato never tries not to be a tomato. See, this little ducky over here is not trying not to be a duck. It's not. It's being a duck, and its offspring will be ducks, and offspring of a tomato will be a tomato. It will never be a banana. And so when we form something and shape and fashion it, while over millennia it might fall apart and age and get destroyed and whatever, it doesn't take away from the fact that if I create a car, it's not attempting not to be a car. As long as you keep it up to, you're running around the streets, you're running its rights, its tires, you're running its its wheels, you're running its hexes, the hexagon lug nuts that hold its rights and its wheels and its rights, its tires and its wheels on with hexes. It's all being held together, like not only physically but magically, because I just gave you the spell. They're using hex bolts to hold on your will and your rights, your tire. You see, but it's still going to hold together as long as you replace it as you're wearing it away. You can't think you can just say one spell and it'll last forever. It'll start to lose its until you re-energize that spell, recreate it. You can look at some old paintings; they're gonna start to vanish. Look at old people; they start to fade away. They start to get old. The Medes, yes. The Medes were there's a long one I did on the Medes and Hollywood. And there's a big connection to where they are on the realm, and the connection to the media and the Medes, and they're both on the 33rd degree parallel, and they're literally 180 degrees across from each other. It's pretty interesting, and why there is such a where have we been? Where's the Hollywood? Where have they really been focusing their, or the America, like the United States? Where's the war been focused on? Where do you think the Medes are? Iran? What's the only place that's what was it? It was like Iraq, Iran, and a bunch of other, there was like 5 other places. South Korea and Cuba and one other place. Remember, they were all, it was the most propaganda against those places, saying those are the evil places. There's only that many countries and those are most evil, and they're trying to kill the rest of the world, when they, in fact, what they were trying to do is not be part of the World Economic Forum and the Federal Reserve, and they wanted their own economy and money, and they didn't want to be part of the thumb of that larger thing. And so that we just labeled them that and tried to take over that. And that's where the meds were, the media. So the media is much different than what Hollywood is, even though there's an infiltration in both directions. It's a long story, but what's up, Senator Ed? Yep. There you go. Traumas, there we go. Yeah, it's not our fault when it happens. You just gotta, what's up, Divine? You gotta deal with the traumas. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that a couple times, and I'm just like, what the fuck? People is wild, Joe. Just because somebody's been doing it for a long time doesn't mean that you should be doing it. It's all sorts of strange things people do. Well, that's what my daddy did. You know, you ever eat a meal somewhere like, well, that's my way my grandma made it or whatever. Like, well, your grandma fucking sucked at cooking. Sorry to tell you, that fucking sucks. Why don't you learn a new way to do it? See somebody holding the knife all wrong, cooking something all wrong, not knowing how to bake bread. I should probably get. Anybody want to buy me some clippers so I can get rid of some of this? Should probably trim this up a little bit. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of, if anybody wants to, because you are also very fortunate to have a house, a home, a little currency, a little change on the side, which I am struggling with right now financially. If you want to help me out, I'm shaking my little donation jar, and you guys can help me out, and I appreciate it. And if you need anything from me one-on-one to feel like, you wanted one-on-one for some questions about anything health-related or otherwise, holler at me, Theo Luminous, TheoLuminous @gmail.com. It means Godlight. That's me. Yeah, but my Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo are beneath. It is the $TsarX, capital X, EN, TSAR, capital XEN, and paypal.me/TSAR, capital XEN. That's how you get at me and help me out. Appreciate it. Thanks. You guys are the best. So check it. It's the sun is going down and it is starting to get a little chilly out here. And I need to collect myself a hoodie. And now that it's in the fall season, there will be some more chilly nights. I think maybe like 63. I'm not a big fan of anything below 70. So I think I'm gonna call this a show. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's been a pleasure to see everybody. And Melissa, I know I've been putting it off because I've just had errands to run and other shit to do for the past few days. I'll try to get at you perhaps tomorrow, or just a bunch of people I just fucking missed phone calls from. But I'll try to get at anybody that needs some assistance. You know where I'm at. There's my email and everything else. Good to see you, Juniperus, Stan. Oh, the La Palma Island. I did a show on that yesterday, Stan. Hit you up real quick. The last show I did was literally, I think that's a true. Oh, I wanted to get into this whole show. I'll do another one tomorrow. But I have two shows lined up that I have ideas about. And one is you better get stocked up, because there's, without question, whether it's on purpose or whatever, they'll be at least they'll at least knock out the computer links for a while. Check out this guy. Hi, Mama. What are you doing? Hi, baby. They will be knocking down the computer shit for a while. There'll be definitely the electricity shit will be happening. Hi, baby. What are you doing? I don't have any snacks right now, though. And that thing, it seems like they're trying to turn that into a. And here's how I said it last time. I know a lot of things is fear mongering and getting people to be scared of that, and they're gonna, but they also, despite all of the fear tactics, there are some real shits that they do. Like I was trying to say, the September shit that happened in 2001, right? To say that didn't happen is ridiculous, because it did. But why and how is a different thing. We could say, hey, it was ahead of time. They showed us it was all scripted, and we knew it was going to happen. Well, we didn't really know about it at the time, and afterwards people got really hip to the scripting. So just because it's scripted, and there's a lot of other things that they just feed us fear, and then we consume. Fear and consumption, it's like a number one rule in how to sell things. Fear and consumption, we have the solution. Problem, reaction, solution is another way to say it. But this thing with the La Palma thing happening is, I wouldn't be surprised if it. I'd be surprised if it didn't happen. So if you're living near the East Coast, A, you better have somewhere to go inland, and B, anywhere else you should be stocked up anyway. So I would get your shit together and get stocked up on things. And you guys can donate to me to help me stock up for the end of the world. And when it comes, I think we'll be okay here where I live. So you guys can come down and visit me. Have a great lookout to kill zombies, and there's all sorts of cool shit around here. So I got to get the fuck out of here, y'all. It has been a pleasure as always. And Stan, I'll go deeper on that in another one. Good to see you, Center Ed. Good to see you, Divine. Good to see you, Junie. And everybody else. And if you need to, anybody wants to, you can hit me up on, like I said, Telegram, zen.atman, and my Instagram, which it should be zen.atman as well, or zen_atman is for the Telegram. Yeah, go and chat with me there. And I'll see you guys soon. And we will. I'm just getting through these last couple comments here. Yeah, peace out, everybody. Talk to y'all soon. Donations are happily accepted because I told you I'm all broke right now. So help me. Help me if you can. And I'll help you guys in return in the future. I'll send you some magic.